94.4.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock. Good morning. This Monday is the 27th of January, and welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. We'll hear directly from government this morning on certain issues and how the delivery plan is actually working out. Welcome, Ndu CT. And our guest host for this week, Mark Bichachi, here with you. Karibuni Sana. Our live streams are up, and so you're also clicking in on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X, and are all across radio frequencies around the country. And we say welcome also to our audiences on KTN. Karibuni Sana. And we're getting into a conversation, and our guest is already seated in the room, coming in all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Gabriel Mudhuma is the deputy spokesman for the government.
Did you just say bougie?
I said bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh,
kind of like a squirrel that goes after the nuts.
Bushy-tailed. I thought
he still came in bougie, though.
He came in bougie. We have to agree.
Show your love.
We had to call him Mr.
Moneybag.
Well, Mr. Moneybag is without the money. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
And how are you?
I'm
Good
all right.
morning.
How about yourself?
Very well, thank
I
you.
see now you have the Mr. Mark Bichachi.
Yes.
My good friend.
Is it?
For many years.
Yeah, for many years.
Fantastic.
Yeah. How's it going with you guys?
Well, very well. It's
and,
good to have
and
you
salams to our good friend Eric. I saw we congratulate him. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Greener
Always.
pastures, ain't he?
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You know, that's a question that only he can answer.
The greener
Yes.
Eric. No, I mean, people move, things change.
Indeed.
Right? Why are you not talking about, the facelift of State House? But anyway, before we get there,
Let's welcome
this
you.
week, as you welcome me, this week we were in morning. You saw City. We lost our soccer matriarch Bob Munro,
Yes.
We did.
and so we have mass today, and tomorrow will be the burial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
A
cremated
huge
tomorrow.
loss.
Oh,
Huge
totally,
loss across fraternities, across the
Yes,
country.
yes. And literally he raised us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Madara Valley, we came from the Maisa fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
So we grew up with Bob, honestly, and that's one person I think will remember for quite a while.
Indeed. May his soul rest
amazing
in
guy.
peace, and may those that he's left behind with his impact,
And
may they
continue
continue to,
Yes,
be lifted up.
Yes.
So let's welcome you to the Situation Room. You know how we do it.
Of course.
And CT's gone to another country this week.
Mm-hmm.
And he will tell you the proverb, and then you can tell us how you would interpret that. See, now we give you work to do when you come here.
Shoot it, Mr. CT.
Yes, we are in the People's. Is it People's?
United Republic.
You are a good man. You understand. It is United Republic. Yes. Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how fast moonlight runs, daylight catches up.
No matter how fast the night runs.
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Daylight catches up.
Yeah, you know, when we were growing up, there's a song that we used to sing, CT. Just say, ain't no need to worry what the night will bring. It will be all over in the morning. It was sung by the Winans. Yeah, so that translates. In Kiswahili si usemaje?
Oh, ipi neno gani hiyo?
Kuna methali ya Kiswahili.
Inamaanisha?
It actually speaks to the
To this particular proverb?
Yes.
Me for a moment there, I thought you were going to think of the Bob Marley song.
which one?
Maybe don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Every little thing gonna be all right.
Is that anyway? I don't know why. It's funny way. Yeah, but I think it really speaks volumes to say that it doesn't matter what happens. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Okay.
Indeed.
It'll be all
I
right.
hope. Well, again, good to have you here and looking at certain things. In terms of delivery on the government plan, we know government today are those who said at some point, give us an opportunity to be able to sit in positions of leadership and of authority. And they essentially then across board form government. We know that. And then there are different arms that then come in to then ensure that what you told Kenyans in whatever it was, whether it was a manifesto, whether it was a plan, whatever it was, that those things will come to pass, that those things will come to be. Interestingly, over the last couple of days, many a politician have said that it's very difficult for you to enact your plan if some of the carriers and bearers of that vision have changed over time. So that forms the broad base of our discussion this morning. And of course, there are very many elements that come into play as well. So give us an overview, Gabriel. From a spokesperson point of view, of course, you have all this information at your fingertip. Where, in terms of progress, is the delivery of this particular government 2 years down the line?
Thank you, guys, and really appreciate for you giving me this time. And like I've said, it's good to see my good friend Mark Bichachi with you in the studio this morning. You remember, Ndu, I think we've mentioned some of this, I think, in my last visit here. And I told you, for us to appreciate where we are, we must, first of all, really somehow understand where we are coming from. What or how did the government look when our current president took over power? It was really the time when things were really bad. Our debt, you may recall, food prices were all up. We had just come out of COVID, Bwana Mark, you may remember. And so things were really grey. What has happened over the past 2 years, and look at where we are, from the stabilizing of the Kenyan shilling, from the fertilizer subsidies that went to subsidize production and not consumption. We are no longer having people walk around the streets with their sufurias on the head. What does that tell you? We are entering in the sphere of the universal healthcare. And that seems to be working pretty well. That one I can confirm, contrary to what you've been hearing. But in general, I think we have done well in those 2 years. Are we there yet? No. But I can guarantee you we will get there.
What's the measure of well?
I told somebody that I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we will clap our hands and say we have arrived. I don't think that will ever happen.
Okay.
Why?
And the reason why this is because when it comes to building a nation, you don't have a hooray moment. Nations are built on progressive advance. Yeah? We have captured all these agendas that we are talking about since independence, city. Since independence. And just give me 1 minute to explain. The issue, for instance, housing, which is captured in our constitution, Article 43. Life to quality healthcare has been in our constitution. When we talk about things like agriculture in our constitution, when you look at some of these things, they've been in manifestos of all parties that have wanted to take leadership. When you look at unemployment, this is something we've suffered from, not as an administration, but as an entire country for the longest. Changing our education. This has been conversations carried through on all administrations. So what does that tell you? At least we have somebody now who's implementing. For instance, we were in the previous administration, we were talking about the Big Four agenda, you may remember. A continuation which I feel, when you look at something like housing, which is now being implemented, and you can see very soon you'll have people entering these homes. Universal healthcare, yes, it has teething problems, but it is being implemented. Remember, Kibaki had it in his manifesto. He tried implementing it. I think at that time, things were not sitting well. It wasn't able to be implemented. But now, we are heading in the right direction. I can say this without fear of contradiction. Look at our Moody rating. Something else to be grateful for. Our inflation. So this CT is what we call credible, deliberate actions. And with time, like I've told you, we'll never get to a point where we are saying we've successfully developed or created a good country.
But I think you should, and this is the thing about development, that there have to be markers of development.
There has to be.
So because this is the thing, that you should be, and that's why you set a plan.
There has to be, for instance.
And then as you, and this is, I think this is where the crux of our question would come in.
Yes.
That there have to be markers where you say, well, this we have actually done, and we have done across the metrics. We have made sure that this have done. Have people satisfied? Yes. Have we gotten feedback? Yes.
Right.
Are we opening communication channels through which we can then measure the progress? You have to have those hurrah moments.
Without a shadow of doubt. Without a shadow of doubt.
250,000. So this is the question that we're asking.
250,000 homes coming. When you look at the fertilizer subsidies and what it has done, we continue with that journey, and I can tell you, we will have solved what we are calling in Swahili janga la njaa. We'll have sorted that one. When we are finally able to roll out.
Down?
Of course.
What food prices have gone down?
Oh, really?
Yes. What food prices have gone down?
There was at one point unga, and I'll give you that because that's the marker we use all the time. Unga was 200 and something.
Per 2 kg?
Yes. Yeah. And now that has really gone down.
To what?
Yeah. There are people who will tell you some places they go, it's 110, 120. And some will tell you the people who use the gorogoro will tell you they are buying it, one gorogoro, probably less than 100. When you look at, let me give you something else. Food, in fact, that is, now that you've mentioned, if you look at food, the inflation holistically, it has come to 4.8, and to be honest.
4.8 what?
4.8%, from 7.7 in December 2023. If you look at the fuel inflation, this climbed to minus 1.0 from 13.7. We're going with credible, deliberate actions. And when fuel goes down, really, it affects a myriad of many other things.
It should.
Yeah. When we've experienced short rains, things have really become worse. Mark, you'll remember when we've not, due to our reliance in hydro, things would become pricey. And there's a reason why things get pricey is because we resort to using diesel generators. So, and that is to power. So a balance, you have to strike a balance. This is time for new thinking.
In what
to
way?
ensure, it matters energy, to ensure that we don't have that high reliance in hydro. And that is why you saw a team has been thinking of new ways of energy, whether we are looking at it solar, which is one day to go, and other forms of green energy. It is good that we're having this conversation to ensure that our energy costs are brought down and in real sense bring most of the items that we use and the services that we have at home to bring them down. So I like the question that you asked, but specifically that's one item I've been able to give you on matters unga. I know probably
okay. So what we are looking at now, from what you're saying, unga has come, which is staple food in Kenya, has come down from 220 shillings for 2 kgs to now 130 shillings around there.
Give it there. And I've heard from other people that will tell me, depending on the brand that you get, and I'm sorry to be discussing brands, it has, you can get it for 110, 105, depending on the brand. But that's not something that I can pin my really finger deep into.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, if we are to be honest, certain food prices and commodities have really gone down. And that's why there's not the kind of shout and the kinds of issues we used to see on our roads, people banging, and saying unga must come down.
Let's look at the 2 years. Essentially, what we're saying now is that in 2 years of an administration, that what we've been able to see that has affected Kenyans positively in terms of development is that we've been able to knock off 120 shillings off a 2 kg packet of unga. Is that what we're saying has essentially
please.
been done?
And I think this, we again do ourselves a disservice. We cannot come here to just study a packet of unga.
And this is why
That's why I told you. That's why I told you. When I said food prices, I'm talking generally. When I talk about inflation, it covers so many things. Bring the inflation, honestly, from the decline of, from the peak of 9.6 to where it is today.
Gabriel.
Yeah?
It
is, City. We can't. I don't know why we should only pigeonhole on unga.
Actually, we
and
have.
that's why I asked you for very many other examples.
Yes,
but
I've given you generalities of food items. When agriculture has become a core thing in this administration, to ensure that food items go down, when you have ensured that our roads and our road network continue to grow, so that the domino effect of the Mukulima from Mashinani is able to bring their food items into the market without a lot of potholes. We were telling somebody, I was having a discussion with somebody who was asking hatukuli barabara, and so I was telling him, you need to understand the domino effect of when you say hatukuli barabara. Mkulima who's bringing tomatoes from Nyandarua, if that road is not or has many potholes, assuming he's bought his pickup, that pickup, Mark, every time it gets it gets into problems because of the potholes, he will take it to the garage, and guess what he will do? Whatever he's paying, he'll put that money on top of what? On the produce. All right? So the domino effect is that good road. When that good road is there, guess what? The food items will also be affected.
Everything you say is actually true. It is true.
Of course, it's true.
It is true. The rate of inflation has gone down. The dollar has stabilized at below 130, which are all good things, Gabriel. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself, Gabe, is, and I'm going to just take, I think in front of me I have the Saturday Nation, right? And there is a picture of a lady being arrested by over 20 police officers, right? Now, this is the juxtaposition that I think the communication between the people and the government is being missed. This story, when I look at this woman with red eyes and tears, right, does not speak to the progress in my country. Number two, when you speak,
does not speak to the price of unga, you mean?
No, just let me finish, Gabe. Yeah. Then you come to the prices of unga. The truth is, when you take a figure of 1 month of 9.7 and compare it to another month at 4.3, right? You're not wrong in that calculation. But when you look at the rate at which incomes have dropped because of taxation, right? And the supposed benefits you get from the reduction of the price of unga. The price of unga has reduced, but my salary has reduced, and I am still in pain paying that 120, 130 shillings. So the question I want to ask you is, what is the government doing to deal with the individual pain that Kenyans feel concerning various government actions that seem not to be addressed simply by addressing inflation?
You've mentioned something about this lady, and allow me to say that...
and she's an example
I know,
of how Kenyans are feeling.
I know. And currently, I asked about the very same thing, and I was told the police are... It's now in the hands of the police. And let's see what happens this week, because apparently she was bailed out. And if this week she's produced through court, then we'll know, we will be able to follow it up. But
Gabriel, I'm sorry, that's not an answer. because let's,
I don't have. I'm not the IG of police, Mark.
No.
What I'm saying
Hear
is,
me out. Hear me out. Grace Mule 61 stormed into Afia House during a press conference, not an illegal activity, and told everyone, including the healthiers, that the new health scheme was not working and thousands of patients were suffering. Now, what I want you to hear, Gabe, is the pain, the suffering. In fact, let me make it personal, right? I'm diabetic.
Yes.
I was hospitalized from Saturday last week to Saturday this week. My bill was well over 500,000. Shah Chief offered to pay 14,000 out of that entire bill. When you talk about inflation, for me, I'm in pain. Now, I don't want to talk about the arrest and whether this lady is guilty or not. There is a common thread called the suffering of the Kenyan people, which you're not addressing. And I'm using from abductions all the way to Shah Chief and all the way to capitations and schools.
I actually see the headline. They say it's barbaric. And that's why I'm saying an item like this, you have the IG of police, which is an independent commission or service. And the same way you're following, Mark, is the same way I'm following about the story of this lady. When she was arrested, taken to, was it Capital Police Station? And later she was bailed out. That's what I was able to follow it up. But then again, let's see when she's produced to court the kind of evidence that will be induced. To what you're saying about and Paul-san, about the issue you had at the hospital, I would have really wanted to pursue that further to see why it's not been covered to your liking, and it's probably something we can look into once you are done here, because I know for sure I've had so many success stories. About the Taifa Care. And not only the success stories, I've been on the ground and I've met patients, there are videos all around. Yet at the same time, when we are hearing about success stories, City, I'll tell you, there are other people who are saying Shah is not working. And those are the cases I'd like to hear. One thing I can guarantee you, and I'm saying here on this studio, I have not seen a case, one, that the team at Shah have not tried to deal with to its logical conclusion. You know why? Because I am seeing some of those discussions and some of those interactions. And there are people following up each and every case. Now, City, I'll still be here. I'll still add, being a right in our constitution, and hear me well when I said, it's a progressive advance. Whether now, whether it takes 50 years, we'll still be trying to make it better. But have we started? Yes. Is it heading in the right direction? Of course. The issue about capitation that you've talked about, the minister, Mbadi, said 48 billion was being released last week in capitation. Yeah? He said it.
Was it released?
And I believed what he said. There has been deliberations, there has been discussions, there have been discussions throughout. And that's why he came out clear and said, we are going to release 48 billion.
So here we are, Gabriel.
So,
no, sorry. I'm sorry, but I have to stop you there.
Wait,
to ask this very clear question, because this is not a matter of stabbing in the dark to see if maybe something is happening. It's very clear. That
when a cabinet secretary...
Allow me to ask the question. And I'm going to base it on certain things. Right now, over the last 5 years, there is 64 billion shillings, 64 billion shillings that has not been released in capitation. That's over the last 5 years. And this is excesses of what should have been released that was not released. Park that. We are into a new school term. And guess what? The term is determined by government. The dates are determined by government in the Ministry of Education. They are told to Kenyans that you will go back to school on this date. In the public system, it is clear knowledge to everybody that there is money that is paid by government in order for these schools to operate and in order for these children to go to school. Right?
Correct.
Without which there is a depression at some stage.
Yes.
That something is missing at the school level if this is not done. Remember the 64 billion, which is a very important factor here. So they're already working in deficit. So we get into a new year. You set the term.
Yes.
So one would think that at that point, there already is a plan in place for money to be sent. We are into now the third week, and nothing has been done. Yes, we know he said it because we all heard it, but it has not been done. This is not conjecture. This is not guessing. This is not stabbing in the dark. Children have gone back to school. Schools are open. Learning is taking place. Capitation has not been sent. The minister said he would send. They have not. That hampers on development, and this is the question. Why is it so difficult for it to be done?
When Treasury, you can't say it's difficult. When Treasury has already said it is disbursing, it's releasing the funds.
But it didn't.
When Treasury has said it is releasing the funds, the funds are in the process of being released, and that's how government works.
But then they don't get released.
When government said we have a deficit of nearly 65,000 classrooms, we are now
16,000 is the number.
Yes, we are now nearly, we are nearly getting there because of the classes that have already been built. Wait a minute. When government said we needed to straighten this issue, including the capitation that you've talked about, we needed to close all the loopholes. There's a reason as to why. When government said from 350 onboarded, citizen-facing, services to 20,000 now and still moving on e-citizen, it was because of what I'm calling the credible, deliberate actions. And I'll give you an example, because this is something we have to talk about. Why was there need to restructure a lot of departments in government? I'll just give you an example. Kenya Wildlife were collecting between 400,000 and 500,000 shillings a day. That's the department I've given you. And you know that figure, it's during high seasons it slightly goes up, and during low seasons it goes down. They moved through the actions of the president, just one department. They moved all their services onto e-citizen. City, guess how much they are collecting a day?
It is definitely more than what they were collecting.
They are collecting 20 million shillings a day.
Okay.
So question is, why was there need to straighten that up? Because monies have been lost through and through. And so when the government has taken some time to straighten out things that were going wrong, to ensure that all those loopholes are covered, including the introduction of a very techno-savvy, sophisticated universal healthcare, away from NHIF, which was a cesspool of corruption. It sometimes takes time, but most importantly, Mark Bichache, it's a fight. Trust me.
Okay, we're going to go to a break.
It's a fight because of the people who are used to that system to siphon. It's not an easy thing, but it is being done. It is happening. It's being
This
straightened.
is the thing. We're going to go to a break,
Right.
but my question still remains the same, which you've managed to not answer, and I'm going to ask it again. 46 billion shillings, which is supposed to be released for capitation. These children who are going to school are not nearly in school, like you're saying we're nearly there. They're not nearly in school. They are in school. They're not. The teachers are not nearly teaching. They are teaching. Hold on.
I've answered. I've answered your question.
Just allow me to finish this. Food is not nearly being delivered for children who are in boarding to eat. They are already there right now. Why has this money not been sent to schools? It's very simple. Is there a reason? Is there no money? Is it that there was no plan? Why has this money not gone to school?
Money.
So why has it not gone to school?
48, is it? Yeah.
46 billion.
46, I think it's 46.8 billion has already been disbursed. What we should be asking, has it reached schools?
I'm telling you it hasn't.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is my question, is that why? You'll tell us, we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and find out why this money, for example, hasn't gotten to schools, along some of the other lines of things that we're discussing this morning in terms of the government delivery plan to make sure that certain things happen in the manner in which they said they would. Deputy spokesperson for the government of Kenya, Gabriel Muthuma, is our guest this hour. We'll take a break and see what's happening with weather and traffic, and we'll be back after this.
This is the Situation Room.
Are you ready to become the next biggest music star? Do you have what it takes to compete with the best of the best? Oh, yeah. And walk away with over 1 million Kenya shillings in grand prizes. Auditions are open for Kenya's Star Search on Saturday 1st February and Sunday 2nd February at the Nairobi City Hall Charter Hall from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come through and show us what you're made of. Proudly sponsored by
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Do you want some sugar? How about some spice?
I'm back with a little sugar and a little spice.
Get ready to indulge in the perfect blend of sweetness and sass.
Buckle up and let's have some fun because life is hard enough.
Sugar and Spice is back, and it's a little sweet and a little spicy.
The event that you work for a company that doesn't have any stringent measures on office romances, then what do? Take the plunge? Why do many ladies like dating older men? You believe that once a cheat, always a cheat. It's not as easy as it seems. It's not.
Tune in every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
This is 94.4 Spice FM. You're tuned to Sugar and Spice with Yolanda Mulwal for everything fun, funky, and fresh.
Bells will always have news of tradition and things we need to follow. The trading bell, however, will always have news of precision, where industry makers and market movers have their stories to tell.
We want to exit some of the companies to the capital market so that we can deepen the market.
The thing about leadership is you're doing everything, but I think what's not seen is it's a very strong support team that on a day-to-day basis enables you to do well.
The performance of the shilling has a direct bearing on inflation because we import quite significantly the amount of goods that we consume in this country.
So tune in every Tuesday night where industry movers and market shakers have their stories to tell that happen right here at the Bauhaus.
Highlighted on today's paper, but and it's good, higher schoolers and very nice pictures. But this one I can tell you already. They say the Minister of Education on Wednesday confirmed that National Treasury had already dispatched 19 billion, 19 billion already dispatched out of the 48 billion.
To who?
To the Minister of Education. They confirmed to schools. You know, 19 billion, 19 billion out of the 48 billion expected. So more capitation is expected this week. So it has already been dispatched.
Actually, the 19 billion that you're talking about was actually released by the 5th of January.
Yes.
And this is what I'm telling you. And that's why I said to who. Because the ministry is also very clear when they're releasing funds on what it is for. They don't just disperse blanketly. Sorry, schools. Maybe I can help you with this. Maybe you're not aware. But this is exactly what happens. That when money goes to the ministry, it doesn't go blanketly for education. That there is
there are other programs. There are other programs,
there is boarding, right? So this 19 that you're talking about was released. The other money that was supposed to be released by 31st initially, then came down to last week Friday.
I
think
still
in limbo.
No, I think where we are confusing all this is because, first of all, we need to agree that all of us as a country, we are facing what we are calling a very tight fiscal space. This one we all agree. So when the current Treasury CS comes out and says, we've already, yes, things are tight. Probably, we are still in the collection phase of reaching where our tax targets. Yes, it's not only school that needs to be funded. We agree. There are so many other government programs. But when he has committed already, and some of the fundings have already been released, he comes out and commits and says, by the end of this week or by the end of next week, we are planning to release 48 billion. No, that is to say, that money is already locked for release. So the question here is not has it reached schools? No. Is
Gabriel.
When is the when is the disbursement happening and when will it reach schools? That should be our conversation. Not to say that they have not been funded.
The minister, if the money has not reached, they've not been funded.
Gabriel, let me highlight something. Let me highlight something for you, Gabriel.
You are being tricky. You're being tricky because
Gabriel,
when okay.
If I need to fuel my car, and I go to a petrol station and I don't have the money to give the attendant to put in my car, can you say that I've funded?
That's not how government
Can you
works.
say that I have funded?
That's not how government works. That's simplicity.
Let's put this to rest. And why there's a fight, then I take it to another direction. CS Gomba said, according to the Star, or Gamba, sorry. It says capitation has been dispersed. 19 billion was dispersed Thursday and another 15 billion on Friday. That's according to the Star. You go to Standard, it says the government will release all the 48 billion grants to school in the next 2 weeks. All of these articles are from Friday. So the issue, Gabriel, here, either the disbursement has not been done or there is a serious communication problem. Let me finish. Let me finish. You see, Gabriel, we cannot have a conversation unless you let me finish. Right? Because I'm actually trying to be on your side.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Gabriel, listen. Either consider it a state of matter. Either the disbursement was halfway done and it's being finished, or it was finished on Friday, or it was not done. Yeah. Now, the communication between the communication that the Kenyan is reading is conflicting. Now, let me give you another example to move it away. Pay pending bills to save jobs, state told. Right? Now, we talked about the reduction in inflation, but there's a big problem. And I know a friend of mine, it's quite sad that his pending bills have actually led him into poverty. He is borrowing 200 shillings to pay for electricity in his house. So on one side, we talk about the reduction of inflation. What are we doing about the pending bills that are leading many Kenyans into joblessness and many entrepreneurs into shutting down their businesses?
Mark, I told you, first of all, about the capitation issue, I cannot second guess my cabinet secretary. For Treasury.
That we agree?
Yes. So I go by what he said and I stand by the words that he committed. So coming to the pending bills, and Mark, you'll agree with me, this is a conversation that has been with us for the longest. You'll further also agree that there were a lot of issues within the pending bills, and that's why when the president came in, he set up a committee that was going to look into the pending bills and see which ones do not have issues, which are straight, they can be paid. I have not really followed where they've gotten with that, but one thing I'll agree with you, Mark, about the pending bills. Yes, I know so many people and friends who've really some have been auctioned, so to speak. Whether you're looking at it at the people who did work for the national government and probably those who did for the county government, I have heard stories, and some are really not stories that anybody would like to hear, but that's the fact. That's our reality of today. So I think on that one, it's safe to say that one thing I know for sure at the end of the day, if the pending bills are not contested, then
they'll be paid.
Okay. People should be paid. I mean, if you worked, whether it's the county government or the national government, and there's no audit queries on your penny bills, you should be paid. Yeah. So
there's a conversation about the facts that we are trying to talk about, and it's called optics. You see, everything you said at the beginning regarding the prices of food going down, they're true. They have gone down. But yet, even as they go down, we still find that goods are not moving as fast as they used to, meaning there are fewer and fewer people buying this thing that we're calling affordable. If we talk about capitation to schools, you're right when you say the government works in a particular way.
Correct.
But if we go back to the optics, when we have a picture of State House being renovated, the question is asked, is this a priority? We don't know how much it cost. When you see the deputy president hosting very many people, you're asking, this thing costs money. When you hear of a function taking place in a part of the country, and there's a whole delegation of people who've gone there, it's cost. These optics point to opulence, and people are saying, how is it that we are saying that there are austerity measures, and yet at the same time we are seeing money being spent? It is true. The government has done things that you can point to, and you can say they are good. But the government doesn't speak about these things themselves. You are a government spokesman.
Correct.
All right? There are other government agencies whose job it is to actually point these things out. Correct. Why don't they talk about these things?
No, like which one in particular? Like
everything. You start. The Ministry of Education, I'm sure, has a communication department.
Yes.
Is there a government ministry that doesn't have a communication department?
Actually, all of them do.
Precisely. So to all these wonderful things, why do we need a government spokesman to come here for us to be discussing these things? And that is not your primary role, really.
No, I think...
Like, is it Shah Chief or Taifa Care?
It really doesn't matter much. Taifa Care is part of Shah. But you see, Mark, I think what we are going through, CT, and for the longest we will, we've entered a zone where I feel sometimes the critics become too many, even with the advent of social media.
Why do you think that is so?
I don't know. I don't have a linear answer, so to speak, because I feel this is something we're going to struggle with, not only as a country but globally. If you looked at America's just immediate past president, his final speech, he actually spoke into it. He spoke that the world is covered in an avalanche of disinformation and misinformation, and it's going to be like this for the longest. What is going to, I feel, Mark Bichacha, before you get in, what I think all of us must do and agree, even as we question and criticize government, is that we must also be alive to certain facts. And that is what I started by saying, that we shall be forever trying to advance development. It does not matter who comes in.
If you don't talk about it, Gabriel, we will not know about it.
As much as we talk about it, we must also be alive to the fact of understanding what is true and what is not true, what is far-fetched. Because if today, Mark, let's talk about something physical. If today I wanted to find information, if today I wanted to find information about Taifa Care, I know where to go and get it. Wait a minute. If you just go to sha.go.ke, for instance, It answers so many questions.
Do you know?
And I was asking, wait a minute.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to stop you there. Do you know a gentleman called Moses Courier? And this is why I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just saying some of the things
you
can find out. Some of the things you can find out.
We need to be careful about what we put out into the public arena.
I'm just saying.
Moses Courier sat in the same seat in which you're sitting in, and he admitted that one of the things that must happen in the very near future is that there must be information desks, if not at every medical facility, if government needs to set up an information desk about Shashif.
It's happening.
So when you say that you know where to find the information,
I'm saying,
sadly, Gabriel, that's what I'm saying.
What I don't want you to do is pigeonhole every little thing, every little detail I'm telling you, yet you don't want to listen to what I'm saying. All I'm saying is,
I needed to stop you there before
if I want to know, me as Gabriel, a factual thing about something, I know who I need to listen to and who I don't need to listen to. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes it's easier to find. Let me give you another example. And this is an example, out of even what we were talking about. If I want to know today the prices of flying from here, a good example, to South Africa with Kenya Airways, I would most likely get the correct information from their website or people associated with that airline, not in our WhatsApp group. It's an example I'm giving you. So we must also be alive. We must also be alive to places where we need to go and get factual information, because it's going to get deadlier as we move along. Our reality, Mark Bichache, is not what it was 10, 15 years ago. We are entering into deep fix.
And
things are not going to be easy.
Pause you there.
So, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. There's something I want to tell you.
No, you'll answer it.
There's something I want to
help us.
For instance,
let's ask the question. Let's allow me to do this in an orderly way.
For instance, I was telling somebody, Mark, do you know the government has already built nearly 124, going to 150,000 affordable housing units. And they were telling me adamantly, they were like, no, I saw somewhere in the WhatsApp group that you guys have only done 20,000. So, and he fervently sticks to what he calls his facts. So all I'm telling you, Mark, is we need to be careful.
How frequently has the government updated us about these houses? Since you talk of houses.
In fact, when we talk about houses, let me go
to Bomayangu.
Let me ask this question.
Please, Mark, ask.
Let's go to State House, right? Let's go to State House. So we stop talking about the small 150. Let's talk about the house.
The small 150 or small 100 or what? Those are jobs creating
just hold
thousands.
The small units
are employed.
I'm talking about the small units, the one bedrooms, right? So there's nothing wrong with it being a one bedroom. So State House, two bedrooms.
Yes.
State House got a facelift, right? What was communicated to Kenyans? What was the thinking behind it? Why was it done? What is its impact on the country? What was the public participation? And what did your office do to communicate this to Kenyans?
First of all, our office does not communicate that. Our State House has its, and you know this very well, they have the spokesman at State House. All I know is that the building is 117 years old. Yeah.
The White House is much more older.
Do you know how many upgrades the White House have gone through?
Yeah.
Many. The White House, the way it is today, is not what it was. It's not what it was 60, 70 years ago. It has really changed. So, I mean, I think the examples you're using...
The facade of it has not changed.
It's not the facade. It's not the facade. I think what you're looking for, Mark Bichache, is... No. What you're looking for is this tag of money not spent wisely.
No.
I won't look at it
my tag is the communication.
I will not look at it
the communication of this process. Gabe, please hear me.
Now, I've told you.
I did not even bring up money.
State House has a communication team. If you want, I mean, I can tell you the person who would really answer these questions. His name is Hussein Mohammed. But you see, he's a state house spokesperson. And but you see,
Mark, Gabe, you're making my point for me. My point is this: that as a government, first you've got a lot of things, good and bad, that are happening, right? And CT is telling you that the way they are communicated to the people is not ringing true. For example, you say the Sha Shift Taifa Care, right? I can tell you, my grandmother is not going to sha.go.ke to find out. She needs to be educated and told, what does Taifa Care mean? What does Shift mean?
Let me tell you about your grandmother, Mark Vichache. Very quickly, let me tell you about your grandmother. There's something called a CHP. If your grandmother...
CHP?
Yeah.
Community health promoter.
No, I'm just saying, even I don't know what that is.
There's a community health promoter. You may not know, but your grandmother knows. Because that man is localized at the village. He will go there, spend some time with your grandmother, answer every question that your grandmother will have.
About Sha?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything. And they'll even go further. If she's not registered.
They'll register for her.
They'll register for her.
Good.
Okay. So you're telling us CHPs will register for people?
They are doing it, not that they will. They are currently doing it.
Okay.
You see, when I started by saying credible, deliberate actions, that's what's changing the face of this country. And when the president is when the president is pushing this issue that Kenya hii tutabadilisha, he means it, and it will change. All I'm saying is, even if, as we are having these discussions and deliberations, Mark, yes, we may not see eye to eye on many things. We may not agree. Yeah? And it's good, and it's allowed. But one thing all of us must subscribe to is that we are not where we were.
That I agree on.
Not where we were.
The direction
no one disagrees.
To be contended with.
No. We are heading in the right direction.
Okay.
We are heading in the right direction. And when I say we're heading in the right direction, like Bob Marley said, if you want to know where you're going, you must know where you're coming from. We were doing badly. We were really doing badly.
Now, Gabriel, we're doing badly.
We were doing badly. And that's why I started by saying, are we where we want to be? No. But we are definitely not where we used to be.
Why
and that's why I believe
on this issue that we keep bringing up and you don't seem to want to address
Which one?
It is the duty of the government is to inform its people. Stop telling me about portals and what have you. Communicate through how many people go to the internet to look for anything. They listen to the radio.
Yes.
How frequently does the government communicate to its people in vernacular, in radio? Simple.
In fact,
how often?
Doing a lot. I'm here, first of all. And tomorrow you may have another government. I listen to this. In fact, it's one of my favorite broadcasts. I listen to you a lot. I see government officials coming here. You just told me Moses Kuria was here.
Yes, he was.
And so, as we do our best, obviously, we are fewer compared to the people out there.
If you did your best, the complaints would not be as many as they are.
Am I not doing my best, City?
No, you are. The point I'm trying to make is this. It is falling short of what is necessary because
I think
the hue and cry would be as loud as it is if the communication was actually reaching the people as it should.
All I ask people to do is, first of all, judge. If I was to judge, or the way people are saying, there is a lot that is happening and you people are not communicating. It's just to look at the thematic areas of what the president promised. The president has really not vacated from any of his promises. When he said the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and he said, starting from the issues of hustler fund work, many people that I know, and trust me, I know so many people who can tell me, Gabriel, I don't know about the rest, but this program called the Hustler Fund has helped me. The bank are telling us now that if we continue keeping a good credit score, we can go to the bank and borrow money.
More money for Hustler Fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are saying it is a good program. The only problem I feel is we have some of us who have, and these are people telling me, some of our friends have taken this money and they've not put it in proper use. And that's why we keep, when we come to such shows, is we tell people, Hustler Fund will only work for you if you subject it to what it was meant for. Yeah. So secondly, when you look at an issue like agriculture, which the president really made, as part of his serious campaign, if you look at it today, 6-point-something million farmers already registered who are collecting fertilizer. We cannot say we are not seeing, the energy that has gone into food production.
Yeah.
We cannot say we are not seeing the energy that has been put on what we are now calling the brain gain. Yeah. People are actually going out there to eke a living. Yes, call it Qatar, call it Saudi Arabia, call it Germany. So many Kenyans today have been given that opportunity to be able to go to another country, eke a living, and most importantly, when they come back here, they are bringing something useful, and that is experience.
And what do we do the ones who remain here?
These are questions that I think we need to continue having conversations about. Sadly, our time has come to an end. Many revelations made this morning. But thank you for being here. Gabriel Muthuma is the Deputy Spokesperson, Government of Kenya, and have several conversations today about things that are happening or not happening. And it will be nice to touch up with you again in the future.
They are happening good and nice things. Will continue to happen.
Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning. It is 8:08.
Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Are you